Well, hello, everyone. I'm so glad that you have joined us for our study of John. And today we're actually in the chapter 13. In chapter 13, in the Gospels, there's many instances where Jesus shows his humility in serving humanity. But one of my favorites in the Gospels happens right here in John chapter 13. The disciples and Jesus are gathered together for the feast of the Passover. And this is something that they do every year. But this one was a little different because, and you may have heard it called the Last Supper. The Last Supper because this was the last supper before Jesus was going to go to the cross. So we're going to pick it up in John chapter 13, verse 4. It says, "So he got up from the table, took off his robe, wrapped a towel around his waist, and poured water into a basin. Then he began to wash the disciples' feet, drying them with the towel he had around him." So Jesus washes his disciples' feet. Now, what you got to know is that it was customary in those days for people to walk long distances or even short distances on dirt roads in sandals. So as you can imagine, when they get to wherever they're going, their feet are dirty. And so they would have their feet washed. Well, typically it was the lowest of the lowest servant who would wash their feet. But Jesus was washing their feet. And so this shocked the disciples. They were like, "What in the world, Jesus, why?" In fact, they pushed back when you read more in the chapter. But not only that, Jesus knew what was ahead of him. Think about that. If you knew what was ahead of you coming in the next couple of days, that you were going to be tortured and crucified, that you were going to take on the sins of the world on your shoulders, and that you were going to be crucified so that we could have salvation. Is that really what you would be doing, is serving someone else and showing the love like he showed his disciples? I think it's such a beautiful, beautiful picture. You know, in our world today, pride is rampant. We put people on pedestals, self-esteem and self-promotion. We're preoccupied with that. And I think Jesus was trying to show us something here, that he really desires just the opposite of that. And instead, we are to serve one another in love, in unity, in forgiveness even. I want to read kind of what happens right after that. We've talked about how this is an example of how we should serve one another. He pretty much just says it. He says, chapter 13, of course, verse 12 says, "When he had washed their feet and put on his robe and reclined at the table again, he said to them, 'Do you understand what I have done for you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right in doing so, for that is who I am. So if I, the Lord and teacher, washed your feet, you ought to wash one another's feet as well. For I gave you this as an example, so that you should do in turn as I did to you.'" Oh, how I love this. Jesus is literally telling us, I'm showing you what to do. Not necessarily to wash each other's feet physically, but to humble ourselves to each other and to serve each other in love and forgiveness. And no matter what that person is to you, who they are to you, or who you may think you are, no matter what they've done to you, you still humble yourself and serve them in love. One more thing I want to point out as we conclude here is this. In chapter 13, verse 16 and 17 says, "Truly I say unto you, a slave is not greater than his master, nor is one who is sent greater than the one who sent him. If you know these things, you are blessed if you do them." I love that. Jesus says, if you follow my example, you will be blessed. And I don't know about you, but I want to be blessed. So I hope that encourages you today. I hope it challenges you today. And I just want to tell you we love you. We're praying for you. And I hope you have a very blessed day. God bless you.